Hello, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? It's Friday, and I think stuff is going down. Things are really happening right now. So I feel like we all need to put on our seatbelts, maybe for this reading I'm about to do, but also just in general, like buckle up, put on your safety goggles and your helmet, maybe have like oxygen and definitely be able to take that off to drink and eat. Okay. Cause you know how you get the mask at Halloween and you can't eat or drink and you were like, this was dumb. I'm never doing this again. So, hey, let's prepare for this crash landing of our world correctly so we can still eat and drink while we're, putting on the oxygen, eating some popcorn, putting on the oxygen, eating some chocolate, whatever. Let's be practical about the meltdown. That's what I would say. How are you guys doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for showing up today. I see Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and all over the United States. I'm sure there's a Canadian in here somewhere, and if not, they're on the way. But I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. We're gonna get through this every week, 1 week at a time until we get to the other side. Martine is like drinking right now. All right, Martine. I hope you're doing well. I saw your question and I'm going to get to it. I did star it. Chicago in the house. All right. Here's the Canadian. I knew you guys were in here. I love it. Yeah. Love my Canadians. Yep. Got some Kentucky people in here. We got all of us are here. We all got the memo to show up. All right. Really appreciate that. And I do have slow mode on. A goatee man, thank you so much. I was skimming through the comments and there he is going, hey Susan, don't forget to make the slow mode and subscriber only. I was like, I just hurried over to YouTube, made the connections, the corrections before I went live. So thank you so much for reminding me because sometimes we get 4,000 people in here by the time I'm done and the chat can start spinning like, on the wheel of fortune kind of thing. And so it helps to have slow mode on. I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope the weather is okay where you are. I was just talking to my members. Don't forget that I have a free membership and I have a paid membership. And I have a newsletter that comes out every Friday. People love. But anyway, I was talking to my members, and I think somebody was having tornadoes. So I hope you guys are okay because the weather is also joining in the fun of just being absolutely unpredictable. Yeah, all right. More Canadians. Love it. Love everybody. Thank you all so much. Warm. Yeah, today finally we got sun and 75 degrees. So it's like spring is also, kind of having some problems, whether it's here, not here, here, not here. Oh, tornadoes did major damage in Enid, Oklahoma. Is that what you said? Oklahoma. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know that Minnesota got some tornadoes as well a few days ago or a week ago. So just you guys, please watch the weather. One of my members had to go into her shelter while I was doing my membership live. So please be careful of the weather. I also want to say thank you guys so much. Thank you to my moderators. I see you, Gloria, Agodi Man, Ron, Unconditional Love Tarot. I know there's other ones in here, and I appreciate Lisa Foster, Connie, Donna. I really appreciate you. So thank you so much for showing up and helping out. It's much, much appreciated. All right, let's get started. You know, I don't like to gab. I like to get busy. I'm like, let's just get down to business, right? I mean, gabbing is fine, but not when our country's burning down, right? Got time for that. Ain't nobody got time to gab. We got to get busy. All right. Yeah, please. Oh, Butterfly is healing. Butterfly kisses. Thank you. And Deb, thank you, moderators. All right. I do have a few starred, and there's some that are pretty intense. Like I didn't get an immediate answer. So I'm going to have to sort of dig into it. Okay. So Martine, who's having a drink for all of us while she's in Florida, and we so greatly appreciate you taking one for the team, Martine. We appreciate you. Florida here. Why is King Charles really coming to the USA? I have to be a little bit careful because if you haven't noticed, more people are like disappearing, and I don't want to be one of those people. So I'm trying to like tiptoe through the minefield of tulips here. but I will say that he's coming. This is not a this is not a pleasure trip. This is not a this is not a like, hey, I always wanted to go visit the United States when it was crashing and burning and the fall of democracy was happening. No, that's not. He does not want to be here. He's coming for a distinct reason, whatever the reason they say. I don't care what it is. It's not the reason. There is a real reason, and the reason is more about it, right. There's a pomp and circumstance, they just said, right? So there's going to be like this on the surface. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Okay, but on the surface, this is meant to quail some fears, or the exact words the guide said. So it's supposed to calm down some of the explosive energy around the United States doing crazy things. And it's meant to create a facade of togetherness and support, and he's crazy but he's not that crazy, or something like that. Okay, it's not really going to work, honestly, but he has to cover up, because the real reason he's here has more to do with, there's like, let's just say there's 5 things on his list. There's more than one. There's like 5 things. One of those things does have to do with the e-files. It may have to do with the prince. What do you guys call him over there? Y'all have Britons have a name for him that's lewd, but it makes sense, right? Like, anyway, they've been knowing about him. So he's here to do something about the e-files, like it's not like he's doing something to cover them up. It's like he's doing something to make a deal or seal a deal. There's some kind of thing that he's doing. He felt so strongly that he needed to be in the room. I don't think he's going to be the one meeting with these people, but his presence in the United States of America creates a level of seriousness. Okay, it just adds more seriousness to the talks that are happening. I don't think he's doing the talks, but I think it creates a level of real seriousness. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing, he's here there's something about minerals. Everything that's going on is about minerals. It's not about oil, it's about minerals. It's about rare minerals. It's about the minerals we need for the next generation of energy, of expansion. So there are rare minerals in different countries, but there are also some rare minerals here that we don't quite understand how to use them. The guides have been saying this, right? Like, if you've been watching me, not too long ago, they mentioned the whole periodic table. Okay, this is something they've been talking about. So he also wants to broker some sort of deal for his country. Again, I'm not saying that he's going to be the one doing it, but the fact that he's here, it lends more credibility. Like, hey, we are really going to do this. We really want to do this. We've got our king here. This is how serious we are about this. Okay. So then there's the minerals. And then the other thing is, I feel like this is where I have to be a little bit careful about what I say, but I feel like there's a real potential that there is regime change underfoot right here in the United States. And he wants to make sure that he gets his person, that he gets his laundry list, whatever it is. He's got like 5 reasons that he's here. And they're all very, very serious, because in some ways the guides are saying, if we go down the tubes, Britain's coming with, our allies are going to suffer. They may not go with us, but they're going to suffer at our hands. So they want to be involved. Now, I think it's interesting. I want to ask the question, like, when I said allies, I immediately thought of Carney and I thought of Canada. But to be honest, Carney's like, Carney, we're dead to Carney. He broke up with us. He's blocked our number. I mean, yeah, he doesn't, he's moving forward with other people, other countries. He's dating again. He's doing the thing, man. So anyway, I think it's funny that that all that is coming. It's a lot going on, but it's more than what you see. Let's go back to your comments. You guys are just chatting away, which I do love. Thank you for your question, Martine. Have another drink for me. Let's see. Here's a question back at you, Karen. Thank you so much. Will a large number of Americans be moving to Canada? Girlfriend, I would be moving to Canada. I say here every time I get on here. I mean, I got actual real people who will adopt me. No, we cannot move to Canada. I already just said Carney has broken up with us. Canada has broken up with us. We really hurt them, and they are not fools. They're not suckers. They're not going to stand there and let us do it again. I do not see us moving to Canada. Here's what I see. They have that new program called, it has a really cute name, Come Home or something, or Home Again. If you have Canadian ancestry and you can prove it, like if you have a grandmother or whatever, I don't know what it is, they'll welcome you home. They are welcoming certain people there, but I don't see large number of Americans going there because they don't want us. They don't need us. So yeah, I don't see that. Now you might see in your circle, you might notice one or two people going there. They might be nurses or doctors or some other profession that Canada is recruiting for, or they may have some Canadian ancestry, but I don't see any of. If there were a large number of Americans, I would be in the front. I would be leading the whole line of cars. I would be in the front. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see it. Canada is smarter than us in a lot of ways. Okay. Too bad none of those reasons could be because he has a son who lives here. Are you talking about oh no, yeah, he doesn't. I mean, sorry, but yeah, he doesn't care about that son. That's not, yeah, sorry. That's not, there's bad blood. I mean, I'm just reading the energy. Don't come shoot me. When I go into this energy, there's bad blood between them. Again, there was a sense of his son disrespected not only him, but the entire royal family and all of the iterations of the royal family. Yeah, it is too bad. It is too bad. Prince King Charles can be a little cold, right? He can be a little analytical. Maybe not cold in a mean way, but he can be cold in an analytical way. Like, what does this get me? That kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like he's analytical. I don't know. It didn't even occur to me that he would go. When I'm reading the energy, the sun's nowhere to be found. Not to say that you won't see a picture, you might, but if you do, that is state. I mean, that's because it has to happen. That is not because they want it to happen. There's just not a lot of good energy there. Oh my God, what? Okay, I'm going to put this on the screen. Gooby says, what did the guide say about the mentalist? 45 invited the White House correspondents to dinner tomorrow night. Well, I think I know what you mean by mentalist. I mean, I think these are people that are like psychic, that read you in some way. But when I go into the energy, it feels like a Vegas show that he only knows entertainment. He's always wanted to be an actor. He's always wanted to be one of these, resort czars. Those are the two things that he loves. And so, of course, he would bring sort of, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're not true. Don't come at me. I'm just reading the energy of, he wanted it to be like a Vegas show. When I go into his energy, that's what I feel like he wanted with that. I also want to talk about this. This was brought in earlier, that I got this message from my guides, and then when I saw this, I thought, oh snap. Okay, so 64 MMS, that's probably not M&Ms, but maybe 64 M&Ms. I want to know, are they green? Do you have a proclivity for the kind of M&Ms, or is this millimeters? We have questions. Okay. here's the thing, the question, why is the regime pushing to legalize psychedelics? Do they plan to force it on active troops to control them or other nefarious reasons? So this kind of set me back when I read this because I saw this. I literally saw this. I don't think I've ever talked about it, but I did see it. I saw them giving troops these drugs to make the guides are saying there's a drug that's known, if this is a known thing, that you can give it to somebody and they forget. They're able to take orders from you, but they forget everything. They have no idea what they did, but they will actually go do things. Bark like a dog, they'll go do it, whatever. So yes, I do see this. This is what I see is giving. Yeah, I mean it's exactly what you're saying. It's giving troops drugs to control them. Also, oh, right. So the guides reminded me when they told me this, they reminded me of those child soldiers. Was it in Sierra Leone where they would give them drugs and they would be addicted to the drugs and then they would have to do things to get the drugs, uh, and or they would do the drugs to be able to do the heinous things. This has been proven as a thing. These all of the things that we're talking about are not new. And yes, I do see that. And I'm drawn to the QR code, which is still there in the corner. It's permanent. I guess it's tattooed on my screen now. But if you put your phone up on there and take a picture, use your camera, it'll send you to my website. So if you're wondering what that is, it goes to SusanLynnMedium.com, where you can find out about classes, my membership, my newsletter, whatever, events, all the things. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about that psychotic drugs, because that's, my God, I mean, it's just crazy. Oh, that's so sweet. Maitri Prashad says, Carney may have blocked your number, but Canada would love our actual American neighbors. Oh, I'm so glad, because we don't deserve it. We don't deserve. Oh my God. Oh, oh, I'm so sorry for everything we've done to you all and the whole world, because honestly, like, right, they're standing in line trying to get gas, probably in Australia, because of us. All of this is because of us. So, crazy. Yeah, it's called Lost Canadian. Thank you. I would love to be a lost Canadian, but unfortunately, I'm a lost Swiss, German, Irish person. So I'm going to try to be found by them, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. So let's see what else is happening. Yeah, happy Friday. Thanks everybody. Will the dollar stand? Yes and no. It's going to get transformed. I feel like on the other side of this, I could be wrong, because this is a very energetically shifting thing. But the dollar is going to shift. I've read on this years ago, and I did see the dollar shifting to a digital currency. Look, you already can't get pennies at the grocery store. I mean, God help you if you give them $5 or even $100. You're not going to get the real change back, and that's even illegal right there. So, and now, younger generations are just using their phone with Apple Pay or whatever. So I do think this is going to shift. Now, you might be talking about, is the dollar going to stand, as far as will everything be pegged to the dollar, right? Will the dollar be the currency of the world, so to speak? And I just got the yuan. Is that Chinese? Yuan, isn't that Chinese? Um, these countries want to have their dollar be the dollar, be you know the actual monetary instrument that the world uses. But I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. But as I'm looking into the future, I can see a situation where the dollar gets depressed so far that it just doesn't make sense, right? Like, it's not a good representation of the market. Yuan, okay, is Chinese. Okay, so I think that the Chinese they want to take over. But nobody's going to let them do that, right? Like everybody wants their currency to be the currency. So I think how that might end up happening is there's a digital currency that is a worldwide currency, or not worldwide, but it's kind of like the EU passport, right? It's like it's going to have a lot of countries that are going to buy into it, and this would actually help us be more free to trade and things, because there would be a different type of central bank. But I don't see this happening right away. I don't see this happening next year. I don't see this happening in 2 years. Maybe, maybe, maybe in 3 years to 5 years, maybe. If you can't hear me, it's on your end, because everybody else is believe me, if they couldn't hear me, everybody in the chat would be telling me. So it must be something on your end. I'm sorry about that. Oh gosh, what is this happening here? Three Shifting Veils says nursing homes have started dumping elderly in front of homeless shelters because of insurance. Wow. Okay. So the next thing that's going to happen, the guides just told me, some states, and I think Texas was one of those states, but some states have a law that the child is ultimately responsible for the parent. And so if that happens, some of these kids are going to get phone calls that says you have to come get your parent. You're responsible. Um, so this is going to further the words they're using is destabilize our society, but also our economy. So this is the beginning. The guides are saying this is the bit like the tip of the iceberg. This is the beginning. And then what happens is these changes start the ball rolling towards where we're going, which is we're going to be going back to multi-generational living, multi-generational living within an apartment or a house because of finances. So let's say this older person is getting $1,000 a month Social Security. Well, that money is going to go somewhere, right? So if they move in with you, at least they bring that $1,000 with you. But this is where it's so fascinating, right? Because what we're railing against is anybody who isn't white, right? That's what's happening if you look at it. But those other cultures all live multi-generationally, right? Like it's just everything that's breaking for us actually can be fixed by looking at how immigrants do it. We don't have enough money for food. Watch how immigrants stretch those dollars, right? We don't have the ability to uh, get a better job. Watch how immigrants will work 2 jobs and go to school at night. You know what I mean? Like all the things that we're going to be struggling with, immigrants already do it. So the answer is there, and the thing that this administration is fighting against. Now, let's say you don't have family. I would say to you that it always always the answer is community, right? So everything I just told you, it also equals community, right? So how we get through this, a couple of ways. Number one, work on you. Understand that your employer doesn't care about you, your landlord doesn't care about you, the bank doesn't care about you. So strengthen what you can, right? Get your savings account, get some extra money in the house some kind of way. And then get to know your neighbors, get to know your community. If you live in MAGA town, then guess what? I've experienced this, so I know it's true. You might be living in MAGA town, but there's 5 lonely liberals. There's 10 lonely liberals. There might be 100. They're all lonely because they don't know that there's no other liberals. So, hey, go find a way to find each other. Put signs out. Hey, start a meetup group. Start up a group at a church or a library. the point is that isolation is not going to be the way out of this. So we have to find ways to meet other people and to help each other. So hopefully that, makes sense to you. I have seen universal health care. I have seen it. I've talked about it. The things that are happening right now are indicators of getting universal health care because, okay, so these really expensive senior living places that are $5,000 and $10,000 a month, right? They're evicting their people because they can't pay. The same thing is going to be happening with insurance because as Americans get overweight, get sick, whatever, stress is going to make us sick. We're stressed out. We're not profitable. We're just not profitable. And everything about capitalism is profit. So I see how we get universal health care is that these insurance companies go, we don't want these people. Like when your homeowner's insurance flees because you've had too many tornadoes or too many hurricanes or too many floods, and all of a sudden they cancel you, even though you haven't had any claims. They just don't like the fact that you live in this 100 square mile area and they can drop you. Insurance companies are going to start dropping people, and then the government is going to have to pick them up. Why? Because I've said this many years, we don't want to live in a country where there's homeless, elderly people on the sidewalk, or there's people on the sidewalk that are simply there because of their diagnosis. We don't want to live in that world. So I would like to say that it's because we've got big hearts and we want to help people, but it's also because people don't want to see that. They don't want to live in that kind of experience. So they will start pushing the same way that they won't let homeless have tents, right? They don't want to see it. They don't care if it's hidden, but they don't want to see it. So you're going to see this stuff because these people don't have anywhere to go. You're going to start putting them in jail because they're homeless, because they're 90 years old and they can't afford it. This is not a good look. So you're going to see the government, state governments, city governments, all of the above start moving towards universal health care. I think Oregon is already one state that is moving towards providing its own universal health care. So you're going to see states start to do this. Then you'll see tri-state states that create sort of interstate contracts to provide it, because if you can spread out the payments and then have doctors over 3 states, there's a lot of changes, you guys. All these things are melting down. Hospitals are closing. OB-GYNs don't even want to be OB-GYNs anymore because of all of the abortion bills that are out there. That, you know what I mean? This is all pushing us towards change. It's all pushing us towards the changes we need. Might be scary, it might be a little bit overwhelming, but this is good in the end, I think. I wouldn't say, Patricia says, is Ukraine getting the upper hand? I wouldn't say they're getting the upper hand, but I would say the guides are saying they're giving as good as they get. So they are successful in protecting themselves and defending themselves. Um, they're also, the guides are saying they're proving to be a worthy opponent. Okay, so that tells me that they're engaged and they're not being beaten. So they're not losing, but I wouldn't say they have the upper hand just yet. Okay, I think that might be a little bit premature, but I would certainly say that I'm more optimistic about that situation than I was. So also, I would say that Ukraine has this amazing ability to reinvent itself, to, okay, if this tactic isn't working, we're going to try this tactic, which is 180 degrees different. So in that way, when you're that nimble, it's hard to beat an opponent that can be that nimble. And Russia is not like that. Russia is, kind of tunnel focus, tunnel vision focus. Ukraine has that attitude of being the smaller fighter that has to be more, that has to be smarter, that has to do other things besides brute force. But I think they're in pretty good shape. Happy Friday, everybody. So good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a spirit navigator. I predict politics, but I also have another channel where I help you figure out how to be a human in this completely shite show timeline that we're on. And it's called Susan Lynn Spirit Navigators. No, it's not. It's called Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower. So check out my other channel because it really is helpful. Again, help yourself, help yourself, help yourself. Super important. Let me see if there was anything else I started that I want to, we talked about that. I talked about these nuclear scientists that are missing. I've talked about this before. It has to do with free energy and also next level energy. So I don't know, free is what we're going to call it, but it's really called, it's really like next level energy. So it's, let's say it could be the end of the oil industry. Let's say it could be the end of the combustion automobile is what they just told me. Now, what also uses combustion? Planes, trains. So you're talking about, you know, a whole end of all of these multi-billion-dollar companies, and they're not going to have that. That is not, unless they're making the money, unless they own the, and they're not ready. You know, they could buy these patents, they could buy them and hide them and shut them up, but the scientists keep coming up with with the same, you know, they keep discovering. And the truth of the matter is, unfortunately, that all of this is controlled by money. It's all controlled by greed. What is researched is controlled by greed and money. Go look at how many women's studies there are. They don't know anything about women. All of their studies have been focused on the male anatomy. They don't understand what happens to women during menopause or perimenopause. There's just no money. There's no studies. Also, note that for many, many decades, there was not allowed for the federal government to fund studies on GUN violence. No studies. Well, also, there's no studies on herbal medicine, right? So there's all these things that we don't know about. And the money has to be there to pay the scientist, right? Somebody has to pay the scientist. And now who pays the scientists are the actual drug companies that hope to make billions off of the drug that is discovered. So if your scientist discovers something that doesn't work, they don't fund you anymore. Meaning if it doesn't work for them, if it proves that your medicine isn't working, but there's this free, you know, herbal thing that does just as good, they can't make any money off of that, so they're not going to fund that. So it's not always about free, it's also about control of that money pipeline. And I also wanted to quickly talk about the guy Wilcock. I thought I started a question. Let me see. Maybe I didn't. Okay, so there's a guy who was in his 50s who was really big in the UFO community. I don't follow that community. I mean, I believe in them. I've had experience with them. I don't care to have any more experience with them. So I don't get involved with that. But this guy is well known. And he has on occasion thought that he was going to be offed. And he has said so on his YouTube channel. I think he had 500,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. So this is not a small little, you know, dude in a, you know, home, whatever. And theoretically speaking, according to police, he unalived himself, but I don't get that. I don't get that. Okay. I get suicide by cop, and I know there's an exact definition for that, but I don't know what it is because I'm channeling. But I don't know what happened there. But I'm just going to say that I don't think he meant to cross over. And I think they just keep showing him he's like Charlie K in the sense that he got to know the scientists we just talked about, they got to know too much. And also Ivana got to know too much. So you get to know too much, you get to go. Because this administration, this energy of these people is very mob-like, and they would just as soon send you into the afterlife than take a chance that you say something that, or you know something, or you have so much influence that you become a problem for them, right? So that will address two of the questions I know that people had. They have not been studying female cancers. They haven't been studying females. There's just right now, there's no money for that. So unfortunately, this is what happens. Yeah, we're as we go into 2026, 27, 28, we're going to be not giving up. We're not going to stop talking about Roe v. Wade. We're not going to stop talking about violence against women. We're not going to stop talking about it. We're not going to stop talking about poisoning our food. It's going to get louder. It's going to get louder and louder. And I've said this, like, even if they got some kind of person in the White House who was, like giving us normal words, but we're not going to believe them. It's not going to shut us up. The point I'm trying to make is they're going to do some things to pacify us, but it's not going to work. We're not going to fall for it. A few will. You'll see some people fall for it because they want to go back to normal so bad that they're going to be like, it's fine, it's fine. But no, the majority of us are going to be like, it's not fine. We don't have evidence of it being fine. We're not going to believe them. So this is stuff we will be continuing to work on. Sharon says, will Zelensky ultimately receive the Nobel Peace Prize? I believe he will, although they're saying he won't. Yeah, okay, I get it. He may receive it posthumously after he's gone. This timeline is not written, you guys. I'm looking at like 5 different timelines all going different directions because it depends, right? Maybe one person makes one decision and that sets the dominoes going this way. But they're saying that there's a likelihood that he could get it after he goes. I don't see him going right now, but they're trying every day to get rid of him. So it's just a matter of, can they do it? And I don't, let me put it this way. The timeline that has him as an old man, that I can see that timeline is pretty thin. It's like, it's not very bright. It's a very thin timeline. There's another timeline that feels bigger right now anyway, where he becomes more of a martyr kind of person. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but maybe in 5 years. I don't know. But there is a sense that I don't think they're going to let him live a long life because he represents, he's a target. He represents everything that they hate, right? So somebody's going to be constantly sort of after him. But there is a possibility that he gets to be an old man. It's just right now, that particular timeline doesn't look very bright to me. We can send them love, we can send them hope, we can send Ukraine love and hope. I do see Ukraine getting their land back. I do. It could be that he. See, the problem is, okay, right. So the problem is, if he got the Peace Prize, it would put a bigger target on him. It would actually not be great for him to get the Peace Prize because then he would have more power maybe we don't think of it like that, but his detractors think of that as, you have more power than me. You made me look bad. I'm going to get revenge. So I kind of hope he doesn't get it, because he doesn't even want, adoration. He doesn't want this kind of thing. He wants it. He would rather Ukraine get the country get it, right? That's what he would want. He's very selfless. So if he didn't get it, he would actually live longer. Also, I see a woman taking over leadership of Ukraine in the future, maybe in a year, sometime coming up. And it could be when things are mostly peaceful and there's really a rebuilding happening. I hope that answered your question. Right, exactly, a go-to man. The NRA is the one who helped put the kibosh on the research around GUNs. Exactly. My dad was an NRA member. My dad had guns, and when in the 80s, when he saw that group starting to go with Reagan and go, towards this sort of crazy mentality, he canceled his membership, dropped out, So yeah, it was the NRA that had a lot to do with it. He could have been cyberbullied. I would have to see. I'm not contesting this. I'm just saying I would have to see the video, and I would have to see it from multiple angles, like we saw see Charlie's. But that's what I heard is suicide by cops. I don't really, doesn't that mean that you're standing there and you go to get something out of your pocket because you think let me give you my driver's license, and they think you're going, and the cops do it? I'm going to tell you, it may take a minute, but stuff is going to start coming out. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't get that he did that. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but who knows? Let's see. It's just crazy that we can't get any. We can't get the truth. We can't trust things these days. Yes, the guides told me to move to the northwestern part of the U.S. And I really, I really think they did that. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, my astrology, if you guys are not familiar, we have astrological maps. So your astrology, the time you were born, the astrology where you were born, you can apply that kind of astrology to the world, and you can understand that where you're living might be really bad. I mean, not bad, but let's say it's about shadow work. It's about going through childhood themes, or it's going through something that is not very interesting or fun, or it's boring. You could move to another place where you have a supporting line, a Venus line, where everybody thinks you're the shit, or some other good lines, and you can actually expand your career. Okay. Now, this is interesting because I want you guys to think about this. Where have you visited that you just love? You don't know why. It could be a city somewhere in the country that's no special thing, but you're like, I don't know why, but I love it. I love it there. Or you could say, I've always loved this part of the country, or this part of the world. I've never been able to visit, but I love Greece. Like, I just love Greece. I got to visit one time and I was like, yep, I love Greece. Well, guess what? My Venus line goes through Greece. So I love Greece. Greece loves me. So part of me moving out here was my astrology. It was going to help me be more productive and do the things right. So there's some other reasons that I moved out here, but one thing is like it's not 99 degrees right now with 98% humidity, which is what it would be in Houston. I was done with the heat. I can't do the heat anymore. So there's a lot of reasons, but yeah, they did tell me to come out here. It's fascinating. It's fascinating when you do those readings and then you go, well, that's why I like that place, because you know what I mean? It's like it makes sense. Like you already like this place. And then you find out that that's why, you know? I love that you guys are um chatting. I know you've heard conflicting stuff about Wilcox, so just believe your own thing, right? Come up with your own opinion, right? Like that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine to come up with your own. And it's also perfectly fine to change your mind, right? And that's also all part of this experience. All right, look at that. Hawaii is in the house enjoying an old beer after a sunny walk. Nice, an old beer. I love that. I mean, beer doesn't go bad, does it? Well, maybe it does, but anyway. Um, so anyway, what else is happening here with you guys? Yeah, I'm s- I oh, okay, interesting. Well, I think he was deeply troubled. I think we're still talking about Wilcock. I think he was in the sense that if you're not grounded, I mean, it's easy. When you start going down the rabbit holes. Look what's happened to the e-files. A year ago, we didn't know about Zorro Ranch. We didn't know about these diabolical things that they did. And now we know so much more, right? And so when you start learning this stuff and it just becomes really dark and it gets really overwhelming, right? You just start thinking, where is the good? Where's the light, right? So I think it's hard on people. And maybe he was struggling, because he knew too much, right? But I really feel like he was also a guy who understood the universe, and he understood dying, and he understood living. And so, you know, anyway, yeah, just send him love and light. That's all I would do. Send him love and light. April ends next week. Okay, can I tell you guys about the craziest thing that happened to me? Like for real. We're still going to be getting a lot more people join us, but the majority of you are here. Check this out for real. Okay. I live my whole life on my Google Calendar. Like if I have this event, it's on the Google Calendar, right? If I've got to take my car in to get serviced, it's on the Google Calendar. So everything is on the Google Calendar. Pick the dogs up, drop the dogs off, all the things. Imagine my surprise, y'all. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying it was on my Google Calendar. Imagine my surprise when I look at my week ahead, and I'm doing my Soul Growth Sunday for my members on Sunday morning, this coming Sunday morning. So I was looking at my calendar, trying to get my next week, in my head. And at the end of Sunday, like around 4 or 5 o'clock, it says JD gets sworn in. And I was like, who wrote that? Who wrote that? I don't write political things on my calendar. I don't need any more political things anywhere else in my life. I don't do that. But I must have written it, and I must have written it a month ago, because when I'm channeling, I don't remember. I have no memory of the things that I said. They'll remind me. Sometimes they'll say, "Yeah, Susan, you said this, you said that," but I have no memory of this, you guys. Zero, no memory. So you have I keep wanting to call him Prince Charles. You have King Charles coming to the States. You have me writing that JD could be, you know, sworn in. Am I saying it's going to happen on Sunday? No. I'm saying that the energy is starting to come together for a reverse, a reverse regime change, because the world cannot handle this again. Like if Australians are standing in line for gas, and people are, don't have food because of the supply chain. um the Middle East is heating up for no reason other than dingle nuts threw a lit match in there and tried to light it up. So I think if not this Sunday, I will literally be freaking out. I didn't know if I even wanted to tell you guys. I did share it with my members because I have a special membership that's like Democracy Dialogue. So in my paid membership, which is only $12, you get me 6 hours a week, but there's a whole social media section that's just not politics. And then there's a social media section that is politics. And that operates 24/7. And I went to the Democracy Dialogue and I said, y'all are not going to believe this stuff, right? Like, this is what happened. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to say this on YouTube because, I could be wrong. But I just want to say it from the perspective that with King Charles visiting and everything that's happening, and the astrology of this month is just bonkers, right? There was a very well-known astrologer who predicted on Dabney Lawless's channel, who's a astrologer that I have on my channel often. He said he's not going to live to the end of April. And we were all, Dabney's like, like this. And he's like, hey, I said what I said. The man was like, I said what I said. I'm like, okay. So then I see that I somehow wrote this on my calendar. Like, I don't know if the Susan was going, okay, spirit guides, bet. And I'm over here, I'll put that on my calendar. We'll hold you accountable, right? I don't know. But that these are times that are changing rapidly. Okay. And now I think the next thing is I'm trying to get to the bottom of the chat. I'm like over here, my fingers giving out because I'm like scrolling and scrolling. So I appreciate you guys chatting. Let's see what you got. Barry for president. I love it. For you guys that don't know, Petty Boots coming up Saturday night. I was on Petty Boots last weekend. Woo, woo. Anyway, sorry. They named the blood clot that is in the Orange Mad King Barry. So we're all cheering for Barry now, but that came from somebody either in the chat of the Petty Boots or Petty Boots themselves. But if you want to know who Barry is, that's who Barry is. Barry is the blood clot. We should really have hats that say "Go Barry." Sunday night. Didn't I say Sunday night? Yep. Okay. Barry was already president. And when you say go Barry, you're almost saying go Obama. It's double entendre. It's so good. Anyway, somebody was saying 426. Really? What's 426? Oh, that's Sunday. Okay. Y'all, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I got. So, that's a lot going on. Now, the next thing is a lot of people, and I'm one of those people, I don't see Vance in there very long. Now, I think that he will try to make a deal. He will try to the words I'm getting is appease, right? He'll try to appease the Democrats. He'll try to say, okay, right, okay. Sorry, they're just talking to me. He'll try to say, we'll work it out, right? We'll figure it out. We'll fix the country. But what they just told me was when they interrupted me, and they know I can't do two things at once. I don't know why they talk to me while I'm talking because they already told me what to say, and now they're coming into saying new things, and I didn't get the upgrade to do all that. But anyway, they were saying that the problem with Vance, and one of the problems is he's not liked. He's not supported by MAGA. He's not supported by the Republicans. He's not supported by anybody. But the other problem is that once the Orange Mad King is gone, it's like the spell is broken. The spell that was cast is broken. Everybody can see reality, including the people who haven't been seeing reality. And those people are going to want to see an accounting of, say, Fort Knox, or an accounting of the Fed, or an accounting of where did all this money go. And that's why JD is not going to be in there long, because they keep saying the word fiduciary. So that's, like financial. He doesn't have explanations. The guides are saying he cannot explain what happened. But yet he was the vice president. So if you think about, they're going to talk about Enron again. They talk about Enron all the time. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about. You can always Google it. But Enron was another one of those companies, huge company that went down. And part of the thing was the accounting firm also went down. So it was one of those situations where you couldn't say, I didn't know. I didn't know, right? Like I didn't know. It's the same thing for Vance. He's not going to be able to say, I didn't know, because you were the VP and you had to know. You know what I mean? And we're not going to take that from you. So I think that's the beginning of the end. I really do. I think that's the beginning of the end all the way around. So yeah, let's see. Debbie, will the previous president go to Trump's funeral? What I got was, this is not going to make y'all happy, okay? Like I think my whole career is like not making y'all happy. But anyway, here's the problem. It goes all the way back to the election being rigged. Nobody wanted to stand up and say it was rigged because they wanted the United States to continue to operate. And if we thought our election was rigged, we'd all be in the streets and then we would not be working, productivity would go down, and everything is about the mighty dollar. Now, what does that have to do with the funeral? Well, presidents might go to the funeral because it's what we do, it's tradition. We are not heathens. We're not a failed state. We're not a banana republic. We're the United States of America. We're going to look like the United States of America. But what they don't understand is the same thing about Epstein files and about all the rigged election. What they don't understand is we are not. We are a failed nation. And if you continue enabling and covering up this stuff, you just look pathetic. You just look bought and sold. Okay. The rest of us don't believe it anymore. You're the only ones that believe it. Okay. So if they do it, it's shamelessly. The word I heard was shamelessly. So it kind of depends. If he checks out this weekend or next week, they'll go because nothing has been discovered yet, so to speak, right? And they'll do it with the idea of bringing the country together. How many times have I said this? And I swear to God, this is going to make me go crazy. You'll see it. When they say, oh, come on, everybody, let's get together for the good of the country. No, the answer is no. The good of the country wants me dead. The country wants that person dead. The country, no. The answer is no, I'm not coming together for the good of the country. What you're doing is saying, smile to your abuser because they didn't know any better and just be nice to them. No, we're not doing that. I'm telling you right now, we're not doing that. We're not. So there is no for the good of the country. You want to know for the good of the country? For the good of the country is show us justice, show us true justice, not a arranged court justice. Then we'll start believing the good of the country. So yeah, I just said a lot. I hope it made sense. Karma is attending the funerals. Yes, that's really good. And that's true too. I mean, this is the whole point of a funeral, right? Is honestly, it really is. The whole point is for the human mind to have that acceptance, right? So, but if we're going to make sure he's really gone, then I might need to see an autopsy. Like, I don't know what would make me believe he's really gone, right? Like, it would be pretty intense. Because they can put Madame Tussauds wax dude in there, right? Like, I wouldn't even know, right? So I don't know. They might have to like cut that man up in front of me. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I mean, I don't know how else to prove it at this point, right? Yeah, Hitler had no funeral, but Hitler was Hitler when he died, right? He was already proven to be the horrible, evil person. And according to some portion of America, Trump has not been proven that yet. So we're not in that place yet of we're not in that place yet. He's not Hitler on a worldwide stage yet. We all do need to see it. Right. Michelle will not attend. You're right, KTMA. Michelle will not. Michelle be at home filing her nails, doing a crossword puzzle, drinking a mimosa, whatever she's doing. And I don't blame her because she's the only one with any sense. Whew. Will the country get JD? Again, you guys, maybe I'm wrong. It's just what I wrote down. But will the country get to see JD sworn in, or does it happen behind the scenes? Why is it making me do that? Wow, I don't know. The guides are calling it a heist. It's a heist. Why are you calling it a heist? It's not. Something is wrong. He really could be illegitimate. He could be found to be illegitimate in some way. But anyway, will the country get to see us? So reason I'm saying that is because I see something happening behind closed doors. Like there's a swearing in. Oh, I get it. I get it. Entertainment purposes only and allegedly. These are just thoughts and ideas. These are not facts. I saw him in this energetic picture being sworn in to someone else, like signing his allegiance to somebody else first, and then publicly signing his allegiance to supposedly the United States. So that's why I say it's illegitimate, right? Because it might come out that he swore his allegiance to some other group. Yeah, Mary, you're right. So the Dems bend over backwards just for the appearance of playing fair. This is what I'm talking about. They'll go to the funeral for the good of the country. But the problem is the Republican Party does not. That's exactly right, Mary. That's something that we've been dealing with. I don't. Are you talking about Love Jr. is probably talking about the autopsy. Don't threaten us with a good time. Hilarious. Yeah. No, it's not going to last until 2050. Hell no. I mean, climate change is going to last to 2050. That's 2050 is kind of when I see us getting some kind of handle on climate change, and it's not exactly the way I think everybody thinks. But anyway, I feel like, let's say that something happens and JD gets in this year. I don't think it's going to go well. I think it's going to go worse. I think it's going to be a train wreck. So then, it's a train wreck for him. That means a train wreck for us because he would be the leader of the country and a train wreck for everything else. But the pressure is on him to step down or to get rid of him. The pressure starts to mount against him. It's almost like the war shifts to a new theater, meaning the war against Trump shifts to a new theater, and we go from the Navy to the land. It's a different type of war, but we're still at war. Okay. And then I feel like by 2027, things are a little sporadic, but I feel like we get our footing. So, yeah, the guides are saying we have false starts. So again, it's the same thing where JD says, hey, for the good of the country, let's come together. That's a false start. Then we get rid of JD, we get somebody else in, and it's almost like another false start. But every time we move closer to the goal post, we're not moving backwards anymore. We get a better president, then we're going to get a better one, then we're going to get a better one. And the pressure is going to continue on them. And this is going to be the rebuilding. This is us rebuilding. This is us saying we want universal health care. We want better, more Social Security, better guaranteed payments, whatever it is that we want. It is a bumpy ride, but it's bumpy because we're getting what we want. We're demanding what we want. It's a very different energy. So it's bumpy, but it's better because we're actually in the driver's seat. We're telling them what we want. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I think that within 4 years, we'll have a new president in 2. And I think by the next president, we'll be a very different country and a much better country. We'll have the scars to show for it. Okay. We will. Our country will have scars, but those scars will be hard won and will help us make better decisions in the future. And I see we'll have a female, for sure, a female president in 32, and just more maternal energy in our country, a viewpoint from a maternal or a woman's viewpoint will be more present, and it will be more healing. It'll just be really healing and nurturing energy by 2032. But by 2028, just 2 years from now, we're going to be on the way towards that. It just we're not going to hit it out of the park with one. We're going to have to keep trying a couple of times to get there. Yeah, I don't think Kamala will be at the funeral either. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? So let's say that he does not cross over, but let's say that there's a coup, right? That the writing's on the wall. It's very much like Nixon, like whoever it was, Johnson, whoever went to Nixon and said, "We're going to give you the pleasure of resigning." Meaning, you know what I mean? Like you can resign or we're going to impeach and convict and remove you, and it would be better if you just resigned. This is what I think they're going to do to Trump. They're going to say, "Look, the gig is up. If you will exit, we'll give you these pardons, we'll give you these protections, we'll let you move to Argentina, wherever you want to go." I don't see him going to Argentina, but whatever. And then they're going to force him to leave. Okay, so I see like the cabinet. If the cabinet has a choice between going to prison with him or standing against him, I think they might stand against him. And so this could all happen in the next week. And if not, because here's the thing that people don't understand about Trump. He didn't get here because he's stupid. He didn't get here because he's weak. He got here because he's not afraid to kill people. He got here because he's not afraid to shut people up. He got here because he'll do anything. He has no bottom. He will do anything. And there's not many people who will do anything, right? Like everybody has like a line. I'm not going to go that far. No, he'll go wherever he needs to go. So if they exile him, which I've said to you guys, he wants to be a president in exile. I've seen that timeline. That is a strong timeline for him. Why? Because he can grift. Think about it. I'm really the president, but I was evicted because these people hate me, so send me money. They'll send him money, you all. They will cash app that man. They will, because he's hooked them all the time on being the victim. They don't like me. They don't like me. You know what I mean? Like, so it's the ultimate victimhood. And if he's got a get out of jail free card, he'll be like, okay, great. I'll just go over here and I'll just make all the money. But here's the problem. And I think not everybody realizes this about him. He's like Hitler, where they put Hitler in prison, but he got out. He wasn't fixed. He was crazier. And then he became, the leader, and then he took on the whole world. So they could allow him to escape like that. But he would always have plans to come back. He would always have plans to ASSANI, you know what I'm going to spell, right? To pow pow somebody. So he's not safe over there. but it is a potential. So then the other thing that I see happening, more likely, they stand up, they think we're going to have an intervention, grandpa, we're going to send grandpa to the home, we're going to take away his ketchup. But what ends up happening is grandpa whips out, somebody who I just saw that guy, his valet that was in the Navy. He whips out somebody who's got a sidearm, and then you have some kind of blood on the walls of the White House. This is what I saw. It's what I read to you guys, right? So these are all potentials. But the timelines are coming closer to being in alignment. We would all, Walton Alta, yeah, thank you. We would all buy him a ticket. So the question that I probably should ask my spirit guides is, will these people in the cabinet, will they be so gullible? I'm seeing Kennedy for some reason. Will they be so gullible to believe this man that they can stand against him? Actually, let's ask about Vance, because Vance would be leading the charge. You would need the VP. This is for the 25th Amendment, not for impeachment. For some reason, I'm going for the 25th Amendment over impeachment. So Vance, in my mind, Vance says we can handle it. He has like a deep voice when he says it, like we can handle it. We've got this handled. So perhaps, okay, here's some more wild conspiracy theories. So perhaps if the Mad King says no, we're not going to have that, and he gets Walt or somebody who knows what to get out the poison ketchup bottle to squirt it in their eyes. Somebody comes along and with a hypodermic, and you know what I mean? So it sounds like they really want to get rid of him. To me, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, see, impeachment would take too long, and there's too many variables. The guides are saying we don't know if we can get enough senators to convict, because impeaching we've done. We cannot get the senators to do their part. So, and then who's going to remove him? Who is going to remove him? Another thing I've seen and I've said, I see the military removing him. Okay. So now if you look at all these outcomes and you have King, Charles coming to visit us, do you really think they're going to do something messy? Probably not, because they're not going to put King Charles in any kind of danger. So I think that it could be that it's something more, I want to say the word simplified, but I also want to say the word humane. So it could be that they blame it on Barry, that Barry gets the blame, but maybe it was a hypodermic needle that set Barry free. I don't know. Sacred Spirit says, oh my God, I saw the same thing regarding the orange turd whipping out a firearm trying to go off on people in public setting. I hope not too, but what we're seeing, you guys, are the potentials. They're like thought bubbles. When you think a thought all the time, it starts to have energy, you guys. It starts to have energy. So we're sort of reading those thoughts, those potentials. I said, what? I said Republicans won't vote. Let's see what you're saying here. Ruby Elixir says, you said Republicans won't vote him out, but how will their eyes open? Are you talking about MAGAs, like their eyes are going to open when they're at the gas station and they're paying $6 for gas when it's never been higher than $3 wherever they live, right? Their eyes are going to be open when their grandma gets thrown out of the elderly home and now has to come live in the living room because of this administration. Their eyes are going to open when they can't go to the hospital anymore because the hospital in their rural area is gone, and there's no services. These are, we talk about the rubber band. They're the MAGAs, their brains. The rubber band could stretch, right? They could stretch and make sense. Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, it's not going to happen. Oh, but you know what? If you stretch a rubber band too much, it breaks. Their rubber band is going to break. Now, not all of them are going to wake up, but more and more are waking up. More and more are waking up. If King Charles cancels, what I feel like that means is it got too hot. It got too, the heat got too close to him. And I don't mean that he would be harmed per se. I mean that he would have explaining to do. Like, okay, wait a minute. You visited the United States, but then at the same time, 45 got out a GUN and shot the White House up. Yeah, he ain't gonna want nothing to do with that, right? Like those two news stories should not include his name. So if he cancels, it's because he has inside intel, and that plane will turn around right in the middle of the Atlantic and head right back on home. Now, if he does come here and it happens, it means his intel was bad and they set him up. They set him up. I mean, I'm psychic. I'm reading the energies, right? As I've said before, if I knew everything, I wouldn't be here because I would know everything. I would know how to make any amount of money. I would know everything, right? So nobody knows everything. I know I'm a pretty damn good psychic, but I still don't know everything, right? But these are the energy timelines that are gaining momentum right now. And then when more of us see the same thing, including you viewers, that means to me that the timeline is becoming settled on one timeline. So like if me and other readers, if you guys tell me, because I don't watch other readers because I don't need to mess up my own reading, but if you say, oh, these other readers are getting the same thing, that tells me the timeline is more likely to happen. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you're finding it interesting. Thank you so much, Kat. Yeah, that's true, Jeff. It's this is a big thing, right? Like the big thing is hard for people to imagine just how morally bankrupt these people are. There's no bottom to where they'll go. And for you and I, we can't imagine that. Like I could not ever imagine doing any of the things these people are doing, right? I couldn't imagine doing the things these people have done. So it's shocking to us. And then number two, we don't believe that it happened because it just seems too crazy, right? But if you ask a criminal, they have a very different attitude about things. Like I remember I had a photography business and I had an employee that stole from me. And when I went to my accountant, I was like, my God, this is like really complicated how she changed the invoices. And he said, you don't think like a criminal. He's like, you didn't notice it, Susan, because you don't think like a criminal. And I thought that's an important thing because that same woman told me things all the time. Susan, you should get a locking mailbox. I'm like, why? Who would want my mail? Right? So she said things that in retrospect showed me she thought like a criminal. I don't think like that. It never occurred to me, right? So it's just interesting, right? This is where we are too, because these people are doing things because we can't imagine anybody doing it. And they can almost do it in plain sight because we don't believe it, right? And I know somebody's going to ask, and no, she didn't go to jail because my accountant said he wouldn't even tell me how much she stole. So he said, just fire her and let her go. So I did. But I trust that karma found her and did whatever. So yeah. I don't think he's going to resign. He's not a quitter. This guy's not a quitter. That's how he got through all of those court cases. All of those court cases, even with Judge Merchan, who should have put him in jail, put him in prison. Instead, he was like, no, you're running for president. I can't really put somebody like that in prison. What? Yes, you can. He's a criminal. This jury said he was a criminal. He should be in prison. But no, they said, no, people that run for president get what? Extra credit for not going to jail? So again, you guys can see how this how this guy kept getting away with things. And we enabled it, in a way. Our society enabled it. And he's not going to go. I don't see him just going, okay, you got me. You got me. Yeah, I stole a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm bad boy. I'll go to Argentina and live with the Nazis or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't really see him doing that. And if he does do that, it means that he actually packed the White House with explosives. That's what that means, right? Um, let's see what else you guys are talking about over here. Thank you so much for joining me. We have 4,300 in the house tonight. I really appreciate you. If you want to watch this from the beginning, we covered a lot of important topics, and you can find those. Tomorrow, I will put timestamps. So if you want to come back to this video, you want to just remember what I said about one thing, tomorrow there will be timestamps in the description. I just have to wait till the live is over and YouTube makes a transcript, and then I create timestamps. And so you can go back to all my lives, my live streams, and look at those timestamps if that's something that you want to do. Right. This is exactly right, Holly. A malignant narcissist is never going to resign. And generally speaking, if they have a moral or a mortal wound that's so public, they're going to take a bunch of people out with them. And I've always seen the White House. I predicted the White House would have damage. One whole wing is gone, but I see more damage to the White House. I did see some kind of fight happening at the White House. So he's not out yet. And when he goes out, it's not going to be pretty. He's going to make people pay. I hear the words make people pay. Hey, MK Karen, it's good to see you. I hope you guys are doing good, you and Mark, and thank you for being a moderator. So we all have to run for president. It's kind of true. It's kind of true in a sense. What it is instead of that, what it means is that we have to force our local communities to make the laws and the laws that we vote on make sense. Like you go to vote and they write it so that yes means no. So you accidentally voting the wrong way. We need laws to make it easier to be a citizen participant in our country. We need to make it so that voting day is guaranteed off, that you're off that day, period. We need to make it like Australia, where it's compulsory. You have to vote. We do need to be more involved in being citizens, because they've made it so hard for us to know who's running for office. How do we find out about them? It's like a book, and in half the time it's written in some kind of crazy way that you don't even know if you're voting the right way. These are things that we're going to start fixing, and we're going to start fixing it locally. All the things that we need to work on is in our community. If you start, how this all happened, how Trump became president, is because, remember, the Tea Party and the religious right, they got involved on school boards, and then mayors, council people, then state, governors, AGs, state reps. They took over our country from the kitchen table, not from the presidency, from the kitchen table. So that's why it's really important that we get involved locally, and we're going to reverse all of this. Yes, Judge Mershon. It's not that he was threatened; it was his daughter. Do you guys remember that his daughter was somebody, like, I don't know? Maybe she was. I don't know what she did, but he, Trump's people focus on these people. Judges have been killed, right? The Hortmans were killed. Other judges have been killed. That judge had her house burned down. This is not new. And what I got was Judge Mershon's daughter, grandkids got threatened. The mob doesn't kill you. They kill people next to you. They kill people you love. And then you get to live thinking the rest of your life, how stupid. I don't care, right? I would rather Trump be president than to have my daughter killed. think about it like that, right? Like if your daughter, your son, your grandkid was going to get killed, are you going to choose them? You know, I mean, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy choice to make. And they have the wherewithal to do it. Right now, there's 11 scientists that have been killed or missing. Believe me, they can make people disappear very easily. So I'm irritated by it, but I also understand why Judge Marchand did it. And I can't imagine living with that decision that you chose to not stand up to him to keep your family alive, but now this guy's gone on to kill so many people. It's horrible. It's just horrible. And you know, the guides are saying during the 50s, I think this is true. I don't know. They're saying this. But remember when the mafia was super big in the United States and they were killing witnesses maybe all the way up into the 70s. They did something to stop that. They did something to protect witnesses. The witness protection program, right? Probably started because of that. So we need to go back to that. But the problem is they infiltrated the FBI. They infiltrated the CIA. They infiltrated the DOJ. So there is no separation. It's all the mafia. It's all the mafia. So how do you stay alive? How do you protect yourself? Right? So you can see how hard this is, right? It's not easy. There's no easy decisions here. But we are going to reverse all of that. And those people, a lot of people are going to go to jail. A lot of people are going to go to prison. A lot of people are going to be state's witnesses. Um, I don't know why there's because I'm telling you, I would not, I can't remember any names. I can't remember anything. It just cracks me up when I'm channeling because I'm like, oh, now I can remember stuff. Like, can't I get access to this filing cabinet? But you know that guy, Michael Fanone? Fanone, he was the guy who was the uh, Capitol Police guy that got beat up, and now he's turned into sort of this uh, person who speaks out against this stuff, right? I don't know why, but they're talking about him. I don't know why they're doing that, but they're mentioning him. Maybe he's going to have more of a role in some way. I don't know. Right. Well, Mueller and Garland actually had the ability to do something. Harris was a crime prosecutor, but she was running for president. She was the vice president, so have any she didn't have any job, any way to do. But Mueller and Garland did. They had the ability to stop this, and they did not. They did not. Oh, right, that's who it was. Edgar Boozer. That's hilarious. Um, Mike Fanone. He's on Don Lemon's show a lot. Don Lemon's really cool too. Um, yeah, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Tribunals. So the guides use that word quite a bit. Tribunals. The question is from Vogel. Says, will the tribunals begin once the court, mostly Crisco, is cooked and gone? Yeah, the tribunals are going to happen about 1 year after he's gone. 1 year to 16 months. I know it's a long time, but go look at Watergate. It took a long time. Go look at Jan 6. Took a long time. We have to, and God knows, at least during Watergate and Jan 6, we actually had a functioning FBI and a functioning DOJ. We do not have those things. And the guides are saying that and I've said this back then, when Trump left the White House and Biden took it over, Trump had already placed, because he had been in office for 4 years, he had already placed people in those institutions. He had already placed people in all of the government departments, not just the FBI, but all of them. He had already put his little moles in there. Okay, Biden didn't search those moles out. He didn't, because he thought he what is that term you say when you appeal to your better angels? That's Biden. He's a positive guy. He felt like one mole in this group of 200 people isn't going to matter. So, and once you get a job in the government, it's not like you can get fired for just anything, right? So what I'm saying is those moles started tearing the government down. Even while Biden was in office, they were destroying the inside of the government. So then when he got back in, the rest of it is gone, as we know. So we have to rebuild the FBI. We have to really go in and figure out who's like a truth commission, the guides are saying. Whose side are you on? We're going to need to see your laptop. We're going to need to do a deep dive on you times what, 1,000 people, because you're going to know, you're going to quit. I'm just going to tell you right now. Once we tell you we're going to do a forensic deep dive like we did when you became an FBI person, when we interviewed your neighbor from 10 years ago, we're going to do that now. For you to remain an employee, people are just going to start quitting because they can't pass. They cannot pass that kind of scrutiny. So I'm telling you this because how do we investigate? How do we even have a tribunal if we don't have an FBI? How do we have a tribunal if we don't have a DOJ? So these things have to be fixed before we can actually even begin to believe that we can trust that these investigators are on our side. Because if, let's just say, if they had a tribunal 3 months after he's gone, we're not going to believe those people. We're not going to trust that they know. We're not going to trust that they're on our side, right? We need that trust. They're going to have to win our trust back. Ooh, popcorn and margaritas. I never thought about it, but I can get behind that. We do salt, right? We do salt. Some people put sugar on the rim. That's not me. I'm going to do salt on the rim and lime. Please, thank you. Allegedly and entertainment only. Yes, let's talk about this question. Lynn Varone says, do I still see a coalition government in the shorter term? Let's look at it. So when I go into the energy and I see JD getting in, I'm telling you that, y'all, there's some dark stuff happening with that man. Whatever's happening in that back room when he gets sworn in, before he gets sworn in, it's skeevy. It's really bad, y'all. It's really bad. It's really bad. Dark, dark, dark. Anyway, so I'm in his energy. I'm sorry. That's what I have to go through that to get to the other side of him being president. So, every decision, again, I've said this already today, but I think it helps to understand every decision. So let's say they get rid of JD. They're like, JD, you got to have to step down, sir, because it's either that or that, 5,000 people outside the door. I told you guys I saw Jan 6. My guide said, you all are going to do a reverse Jan 6. You're going to do your own Jan 6. And I was like, are y'all drinking? What's wrong with y'all? But here we are, right? So I do see JD being removed or stepping down. I mean, I want to say that he flees, but he won't run. He won't flee is what I'm trying to say. He wants to have decorum. He wants to leave looking respectful because he really feels like he can come back and run again. Or if he leaves respectfully, he feels like the door is open to come back. That I'm just saying what I'm seeing. Okay. So then for the good of the country, y'all are going to hear this. I promise you, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it all the time. People are going to say, for the good of the country. So for the good of the country, they don't want a coalition government because, and here's why, because you can't control a coalition government. If you have one person in office, you can call them up and say, we're the robber barons, and you're going to do this. You can control one person. You can threaten one person. You can cajole one person. You can buy off one person. But if you have a coalition, it's harder to control. So they don't want a coalition. They want one person in office. Also, the guides just said, if you have one person in office, you can blame one person. And I've told you guys, I even have a video saying that Jeffries could be president. Look, when I suggested that the election was rigged, people thought I was crazy. When I suggested that the White House was going to, fall down, be bombed, or missing part of it, y'all thought I was crazy. I'm just telling you, it makes sense because if they give a Democrat the presidency, and I mean give, right? Like, so if there's some kind of like, let's say JD becomes president, let's say Congress shuffles, people leave Congress, and all of a sudden Jeffrey's a speaker, then, look, it's a potential, okay? And it works for them because Jeffries is a good scapegoat. He's a good scapegoat, right? Let's put a Democrat in there. We can blame all this on the Democrat. And you'll see people like Lincoln's Project and Bulwark, you'll see them switch sides and start attacking Jeffries. Just telling y'all, heads up, right? So, yes, I do think we'll have a coalition at some point. But when I go into the energy, these controlling people don't want a coalition for those reasons. So we probably won't have one for those reasons. But I think once we get healthier, once we get a little healthier, because I see this first president after, and I'm not talking about JD, the first president after JD is sort of like also a rebound president. When you have a rebound relationship and you're like, I knew it wasn't going to work. Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to work. It was just a rebound president. So that person is, that could be Jeffries, that could be anybody. And then the real president, where we really, really feel like not only have we been through hell and back, but we're getting our shit together, is in 2032. That's what I'm getting. I have to go through the energy and follow it, and then see the people, what do they want, because that's what affects the outcome. Is people affect the actual outcome, because like, I want this money, or I don't want this power, or whatever. I have to just go to all the players and see what's happening. It is beyond disappointing. However, Ruby, I will say this, and I'm channeling, so if Susan was talking to you guys, she'd be cussing like a sailor and drinking margaritas, okay? This is not me. It is disappointing, except for that, again, we chose a courageous timeline because we're dealing with it. This is all stuff that Black and brown people and LGBTQ people have dealt with forever. Forever. They've had no justice. They've been sent to prison. Their homes have been burned down. They've been fired. They've gotten not gotten mortgages, been redlined. They get terrible outcomes medically. Black women have the highest natal pregnancy death, terrible. Okay. So this has been truth for a lot of people. It just hasn't been true for me, or true for the white person. So now we're getting a chance to fix it. That's why it's important. We're getting a chance to say, this is really disappointing. This is evil. This is terrible. Think about all those victims. Think about all the victims of Zorro Ranch. Think about all the victims of that Lolita Express. Well, now we know, and now we have an opportunity to do better. Do you guys know that the Super Bowl is one of the biggest trafficking events? The Super Bowl? Okay. We need to fix this. We've got to start talking amongst ourselves and sharing our experiences and supporting each other. So it is disappointing, but in reality, it's like realizing that you got a really bad what is that thing when you get you've got a bad diagnosis, but now you can go get cured. You got the diagnosis early enough to cure it. Our diagnosis is that we're racist and we're classist and we've got too much toxic masculinity. So we're going to fix this stuff. We are going to fix it. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be painful, but we're fixing it, right? We're finally going to look at it and fix it. So that's really actually hopeful in a sense, because all those victims in the future may not be victims because of the work we're doing now. You know, that's one way to look at it, right? Well, I like Jamie Raskin too. He's been through cancer, right? He's been through a lot. He he's kind of the best we got. The guides are saying, like, him and Elizabeth Warren are kind of like in the Senate, the best that we got. But trust that there's new people coming in, and trust that there might be more turnover, because instead of these senators lasting for whatever 40 or 50 years, you're going to see more turnover. And you're going to see, because we're just not going to put up with it. I'm telling you, voters are not going to put up with it. We're going to start voting people out for no reason. We're super triggered. So I see these young people coming in, and more people, young people coming in, and these young people are more, a little more altruistic. Not saying Raskin's not. I'm saying we need more people like Raskin, and I see more people coming in. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sheila. Appreciate it. I swear, if I hear some media person, or if God forbid somebody that's elected that's a Democrat, say for the good of the country, I am going to turn off every device I own. I'm going to turn every device off I own, because I can't. And I don't even watch those people, you know. I try to purple. I don't know your life, right? I don't. I know how I get treated as a woman. I know how I got treated as LGBTQ, and but that wasn't great. But I do know that you know, people that aren't white have a different reality, and there's no way we understand that, and that is unfortunate, because we don't take it seriously enough, the things that happen to you, right? Just like I said earlier, there's not a lot of studies on women, there's not a lot of studies on racial inequalities, and we're going to start changing that. We're going to start funding these studies. So I've talked about race relations from the beginning. It's just like how I came out of the womb, for, whatever reason. It's important. Right. So did you guys hear about the grape? Now we call, if you take the G off, you understand what we're saying. But we have to call it grape because, you know, they'll take us down basically. But there was this website where allegedly 62 million or 62,000 men, if it was 62 men, it would be too many. If it was 6,200 men, it would be too many. But I think it was like 62,000 men had access to it, and it taught them how to drug and grape your wife, girlfriend, whatever. And this is important because we're talking about it. And I've told you guys, please carry mace, a whistle, a taser, um, whatever's legal. Look it up, because wasp spray is not legal, you guys. People say, "Oh, use wasp spray." You really need to look up the laws. You could end up going to jail. So, and you also need to look up the laws about premeditation. So, if you just so happen to have a shovel in the back seat and you co-cock somebody in the head with it, that could, why do you have a shovel? Oh, I'm a gardener. Then it's not premeditated, right? You had a reason to have the shovel. Unfortunately, Google how many women go to prison because they shoot their domestic violence abuser. How many women go to prison over this? Men do not. We can't even get a restraining order enforced against a man. So again, this is unequal. It's unequal. We're going to fix it. We've got to fix this. But to fix it, we have to know it's a problem. Then we know it's a problem. It's a downer. It's like, oh, it's a buzzkill. It's terrible. I don't want to think about having to take a taser on my run. I don't want to have to think about it. But we have to, because unfortunately, this same stuff that created MAGAs, created the manosphere. It created this lonely male loneliness thing, because women are like, I'd rather not ever have sex again than to deal with this, right? Like, so women are denying men, they're not marrying men, they're not having kids. Men are going to start getting violent towards women. I've been telling you guys this, I'm going to keep telling you this. The guide started telling me a year ago for girls to learn jujitsu, for women to learn jujitsu. I don't know why specifically jujitsu, but that's what they say. So, at least you can protect yourself. If you carry a GUN, by the time you get it out, if this person is stronger than you, then you're in big trouble. But if you know how to leverage their weight or, protect yourself, then you don't need anything. We need to protect ourselves. It's really, really important. This isn't over in a flash. It's not like everybody wakes up and we're all fixed. We have to go through the process of, like Germany did after the war. They had to go through a process of understanding, how did we get here? What do we do? Do we ban the symbol? Do we ban the statues? Do we ban the words? This is us. We're going to go through a whole process of what do we do? How do we re-educate people that abuse is wrong? How do we re-educate judges to stand up? How do we re-educate police officers to stand up? How do we re-educate the victims to stand up for themselves? This is a process we have to go through. It's not going to be fun, but at least we're doing it, and the payoff is worth it, I think. 62 million. Okay. Like I said, if it was 62, it would be too many. If it was 6,200, it would be too many. And of course, people are making excuses. Well, the website could have been seen by 62 million. It doesn't mean that 62 million men wrote down the things and did it. You know what I mean? Get out of here. You know what I mean? The fact that 62 million men even watched it is sick. Okay, we've got work to do. We've got a lot of work to do. 62 here. So here's Mark saying, here's Mark, a man, saying 62 million views, not men. Okay, Mark, do the math for me. Do the math. Tell me how many men you think watched that. If it was 62 million views, then do we think a million men watched this 62, million times? I mean, do the math. It doesn't matter that it's just views. 62 million views is a lot of views. Think about it. Let's call up a celebrity. How many views does a really Taylor Swift? How many views does she get? So views count. Views count. If it's not 62 million men, I don't care if it's a million men that watched it 62 million times. I don't care. That's a problem. It's a real problem, I think. So, I think that's maybe why we need to have that conversation about how many men watched it, and does it matter, and where does it matter? Where is the number that matters, right? So, we just need to, there's this, I want to call it we're using the word grape. If you take G off of the word, you understand what we're talking about. There's my guides just now called it is a grape academy. That's what my guides called it. I don't know what it's called, but there was a website that taught whoever wanted to view it. We can assume men, just because it taught them how to drug and grape women using drugs or using other things. It was like a, whatever. How many similar sites exist, right? So, and it's important, you all, because if women are denying men, then men are going to drug you. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're going to get what they want. Now, when I say men, I don't want you to think that I'm talking about all men. But the problem is, somebody said this and it made sense. Listen to it like this. I'm giving you 12 cookies. They're 12 chocolate chip cookies. One of those 12 chocolate chip cookies is made with dog caca, but it looks like chocolate chips. How do you know which one is safe to eat? Which one is safe, to even share with somebody. One of them is we don't know how to tell. That's the problem, right? So this is, this is something we just have to learn and we have to figure out. All right, my guides are giving me a heads up. All right, let's see what else is happening here. I'm sorry for men because I know it's not all men, and I know great men, and I know good men, but one man is ruining it for everybody. So what happens is men need to police each other. Men need to step up and say, "Hey, dude, I saw you looking at that 10-year-old kid. Cut it out, man. Not cool, right?" We have to police each other. Police need to police each other. Lawyers need to police each other. Doctors need to police each other. You're in that inner circle. And if you're not policing each other, then nobody's policing. Then the whole thing gets smeared with the same whatever it is, malfeasance or criminality or whatever it is. I know. I mean, and women are, let's talk about women, right? Women are enabling men. Look at Ghislaine. Women are enabling men by saying to other women, "Oh, be friendly. He's not." How many times at a certain age did someone tell you, "He's harmless. Smile at him. He's harmless." That's what I was told. They're harmless. They're not harmless, but I was told to, just smile and be nice, you know? So women, we have our own things to work through with this. We have raised these men. Who raised them? There was a woman somewhere. Women are enablers too. So this is a whole societal thing that it's worldwide, and we're all going to talk about it, talk it out, own what we need to own, and hopefully heal it. But we can't heal it if we don't talk about it, if we don't bring it out into the open. Yeah, smiling is the answer to everything, exactly. Um, and women can be predators as well. That's very true, right? I would say that they're not as often, they're not predators, right? They're much less, but they are, right? So we need to also acknowledge that. So absolutely, absolutely. All of this, we need to talk about all of it. We really do. And it could be just a power thing. Maybe if women had all the power, we would be corrupted too, right? So hopefully we'll take the time to really heal this, but also hold people accountable at the same time. Yeah, boys being boys. Right, exactly. It's just boys being boys. Do you recall when 45 got in, they said it's locker room talk. This is just locker room talk, right? Like, yeah, unfortunately, locker room talk about Grape, or incest, or, pedo, that's, you're rubber stamping it. It's the same thing too about racist talk. Like, if your family's talking racism at the table and you're not standing up to it, then you're rubber stamping it, unfortunately, you know? And I've had people say, "Susan, why does it matter to you? You're white. Shut up." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Well, it does matter to me. And you're an a-hole." You know what I mean? So we need to be the people in those inner circles, whatever it is, to stand up and say something. Wow, that's a really good point. Strong Little Mama says 62 million women need to watch the site as a tool and to know what to look for. True. Also true. And also, we need bartenders to watch and pay attention, and other men to get involved. It's a whole shift, you guys. We're shifting, but we have to see the problems. I know it's dark. I know we don't want to see it. I know it's a downer. I know that, but we have to see it to be able to fix it. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Yeah, I mean, here's another thing, like Swalwell is a bad boy, right? Yeah. I don't, yeah, yeah, that's all I'll say. Some people were surprised about Swalwell. I never really looked at him that much. I never really read on him that much. But once I looked at him, I was like, yeah, this guy's got a little sliminess to him. Yeah, did Trump loose the plague upon us, or did he drain the swamp so that we could see it? It was here. It was here. The plague was here. How long did Zorro Ranch was in operation? And before that, slavery, and before that, what we did to the Native Americans. So I really do think he drained the swamp. He did what he said he was going to do. He did it. And we can see all the swamp creatures, and we don't want to see them, and they're scary. So yeah. Yeah, I'm glad your parents taught you, Cat Mom. That's great, because that, you know, a lot of parents didn't. I was raised in a racist family. I mean, seriously, a racist family. This is what I'm saying. I came out of the womb. Well, I know why, but I came out of the womb for some reason anti-racist, and I challenged my family all the time on it. I was not pleasant to be around. So it's just, even if you had a family that is not supportive, you can still push back a little bit, or you can, take your leave from them. Like maggots, you might take your leave and just say, I can't be around them, right? Because you can't. It took me how long? It took me probably 30, no, 40 years to turn my dad out of a racist. Now, this man was a Democrat. He was a union man. He was against the NRA. He was rah Democrat, but he was basically racist, and I just gave him so much hell that he finally, kind of changed his ways. Yeah. So, we do what we can. Oh, can we have can we? And lamb, yes, a night of margaritas and channeling. Can you imagine? Okay. Do you want me to tell you what happened one time? Okay, look, I will share a personal story. There are many witnesses to this story. Before I knew what I was doing, or I mean, I knew I could talk to ghosts, and I knew I could channel, and I knew those things, but I didn't understand. I didn't really have control of it. Let's put it that way, right? So this is years ago, years and years ago. I'm at a Mexican restaurant. I had two margaritas, which is like that's what I would drink. And unfortunately, this woman who had died, she had died a month ago, and she was in our friend group, but she was kind of a frenemy, you know what I mean? A frenemy. She was like messy. Y'all, that woman climbed up in my body and took over. And I'm at the table. My good friend had left to go to the women's room, and my two guy friends are like my brothers. They were sitting there, and I'm like, I've got the packets of sugar, and I'm ripping them up, and I'm cussing, and I'm yelling, and my friend comes back. She's like, Susan? And I'm like, I don't know what I was saying. And then they were like, that's Louise. Louise is inside there, y'all. So if you drink, I mean, I finally got rid of her, but I'm telling you, it was a trip. If you drink, your inhibitions are lower. And if you have abilities, you can have a hostile takeover. The guides just called it a hostile takeover. I love that so much, because it really was. So, now I very rarely, it happened one time in New Orleans, but very rarely do I drink enough that can happen. But just know, if you like to have drinks and you have some psychic abilities or whatever, you can have some problems. You can have some problems. Yeah. Yeah, alcohol opens up your energy field, right? It's your inhibitions, but also your energy field, right? It was a trip, y'all. It was a trip. I'll say one more thing that happened, and I will never forget this, right? Like, so I have a vague memory of what I did, but I don't really remember. And of course, they were trying to get me out of the restaurant because I was getting loud. And my two guy friends had me like this because I was really wobbly. Like I had gotten rid of her, but I still was not back in my body. And here's how I know. As we were walking to the double glass doors that you push open, I I thought I was going to walk through them. I knew that I was just going to walk through them like they weren't like they weren't real impediments to my physical being. And when my friends pushed them open, I thought, "Oh, you have to open the door." You know what I mean? Like I had this realization of coming back into my body like, "Oh, Susan, you can't walk through that door, honey." Hilarious, isn't it? It's wild. Yeah. Yeah, no, she was gone. She left even that friend left out of my energy before I got up and walked out, right? But it was a trip, right? Could a mushroom trip also bring on a takeover if you know you're psychic? I mean, theoretically, yes, I think so. That's why I think you should, you should have a good connection to your spirit guides. You should have a good connection to your angels. It's like a muscle, right? Like think about, I don't know how to describe this, what they're saying, but if you, I guess you wouldn't go into a bad part of town at night, right? By yourself that you're going to get mugged, you're going to get robbed or whatever, right? So you just don't do those things, right? So you don't put yourself in that position to have that happen. So instead, you would maybe go and have the protection of, they just keep showing me like going to a church. I don't know why, but like you would just have better protection before you would, look, people, they're saying people have, I don't do drugs, not that I care that you do or anybody else does, but the guys are saying you have trips, bad trips, right? Like, oh, I had a bad trip. That's basically it. Like you went in the wrong neighborhood, you got hooked up in the wrong energy, and now all of a sudden you're experiencing energy that is not, bunny rabbits and unicorns. It's big spiders or whatever, right? You had a bad trip. So and they also say that your frame of mind matters, right? So if you're in a frame of mind of happiness, you're likely to have that kind of trip. If you have a frame of mind of paranoia or fear, then you're going to have that kind of trip. It's going to be like, it's going to be emphasizing that. So the people who stayed to the end got to hear how, I got take hostile taken over. Um, how did I learn to shut that down? I have a lot of videos on this. As a matter of fact, this last Wednesday, right, this week, I don't know. That's not true. Last week, I did a video called Spiritual Scammers. It's on my other channel, Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower. Susan Lynn Spiritual Way Shower. Free videos. Talks about how to not have scammers. And I talk about my experience because not that experience, because I have other experiences, right? So I have lots of videos on this. Even on this channel, if you go to my playlist, if you click the logo and it takes you to my main YouTube page, you can go to playlist and you can find 100 videos on this kind of topics, and they're all free. And it's like a master class on this stuff. So please watch them, avail yourself of this free resources, okay? Because this is going to happen more and more and more, because guess what? We're waking up more and more and more. We are, as humans, we're becoming more psychic, we're becoming more intuitive, we're going to be able to heal ourselves more. But as that happens, there's going to be more scammers. It's like the guides are saying, when we all started doing banking on our phone, right? Now they hack into those online banking accounts, but they didn't do that before we started using the phone. So as we become more spiritual, these entities will find ways to hack us. Now, they're not doing it, they're not demonic. This is the whole point of that video. It's called Spiritual Scammers or something. the whole point is they're playing with us. It's for them, it's like like a cat playing with a mouse. What can I get the human to do, right? So and also on a bigger level too, it can slow down light workers, right? Like it did me, because look, I'm like, I'm not meditating, I'm not doing this work because I keep getting intercepted by these scammers. So I just stopped doing the work. And that's part of their process too, is to get us to stop being light workers, stop meditating, stop spreading the light out there. If they can take us offline, then they've won, right? So that's also part of their reasoning, the reason that they do this. Okay. So, and it's not, we shouldn't allow that, because our evolution is to become light, is to become lighter and brighter. And that's why all this darkness is getting exposed, so that we can fix it, we can heal it. You can't heal it if you don't see it. So I know it's a bummer, I know it's horrible, but it's really for a reason, right? So hopefully that helped you. Um, there's so many resources there. Because this is stuff I've struggled with. This is all stuff I've struggled with. And I teach you guys what I struggle with, right? I come on here every Wednesday and I do a video. I also, my newsletter, which came out today, it is so popular and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, because the guides, I channel the whole thing, right? I mean, it comes out as a freaking 5,000 character online one line sentence, but I make sense of it. And the guides in these newsletters, the guides give us kind of a heads up of, what humanity is dealing with, like really. And then they do an energy forecast for the week. And then they give you like a sacred, like an easy practice to do, a blessing to do. And then I just have a little blurb about what's happening with me. But so these are all free resources. You can scan that QR code and go to my website, or susanlynnmedium.com. You can sign up for my newsletter at the bottom where it says get connected, or you can watch all these videos on YouTube that are free. You can join my online community, which is free. You can also join my other online community, which is only $12 a month, where I do readings, where I do a Soul Growth Sunday, where I do community lounge. I do 3 different one-on-ones with you guys every month, right? So many resources for you guys. Plus all of our other readers, right? We've got an amazing community of readers here. It's and all of us came online because of the Mad King. He brought us all together. He brought us. It was like we rose to the occasion. You guys are rising to the occasion, because we are not going to let the dark win. We are the light workers. We're doing it. We're doing it. We are doing it every single day. All right, everybody, it's been 2 hours. We are a powerful collective. That is so right, Sharon. That's so right. Oh, I'm glad you like the newsletters. Thank you so much. I can't believe I'm running a newsletter, because I never liked newsletter. I never liked emails, and now I'm actually, the guides got me to do it. I'm telling you, this is how you're guided. It took them years. It took them years, y'all, but I'm doing it. And it's helping me because I'm channeling every single week now, and I wasn't before. So they've got me channeling now. So it's just funny how they guide you. It cracks me up. But you guys take really good care, everybody. Have a good weekend. Do something nice for yourself, okay? Smell it. What are you talking about, Patty? Smell it. Girl, I came in on a conversation, and I should just back out the room, because I don't even know what y'all are talking about over there. I'm going to back out the room. Yeah, I'll see you guys on Sunday that are members. We're going to do Soul Growth Sunday. I'm in on Soul Growth Sunday on Sunday. You can join or not join. The newsletter is automatic writing, in the sense that I channel it. And what I do is I hold my phone and I just channel a message, and then I channel it into my notes. So it's like voice recorded into my notes. So it is automatic writing, except for I don't type. So I dictate it into my phone. And then I have a woman that helps me edit it. We try to make freaking sense of it. But I know when I'm channeling it, that there's some parts that have super energy, right? Like, so I will tell her, this part had on words, it doesn't have energy, right? Like just reading the words. But I can tell her when I was channeling this part is really important. Like, so then I know what areas to focus on and to write, to edit, to make sense. So hopefully that makes sense, right? But automatic writing is, you can be typing, you can be writing, but you can also just be dictating, and all of that is channeling. Okay. All right, everybody. Everybody, pray for Barry. Pray for Barry, that Barry the blood clot gets free and makes his way to his Mecca, to his homeland, to his destination. Pray for Barry to do it. And and believe me, we're gonna all get together and celebrate. All of us readers are talking about, hey, let's all get on our channel. So let's see what happens. Maybe Sunday will pop off, as they say, or maybe he'll live to, irritate us another day. He's wily. It's hard to pill down. He's hard to kill. Let's face it. So yeah, break loose, Barry, break loose. So you guys all take good care. Do something, clots and stairs. Do something really good for yourself this weekend. I really want you to really focus on you and taking good care of yourself. Oh, Gigi, good to see you. And I think Sharon Sipe was here. T-Barb, good to see everybody. Thanks to all my moderators. I really appreciate you. Thanks to all of you for watching to the end. I really appreciate you. Just take really good care of yourselves, everybody, really and truly, because on the other side of this, I want us all to be okay. I want us all to be healthy. Don't let this stuff get in your system and make you sick, okay? Take really good care of yourselves. And I will see you next time. Bye, everybody. Much love.